Hello everyone. My name is Maria Coughlin and I am so excited to welcome you all to the final session of the Grad at Grad speaker series for the class of 2023. So what is Grad at Grad and what is the speaker series that we're doing? Graduate at Graduation is an opportunity for our peers just to kind of give an example in a story of how John Carroll has impacted them. It's an opportunity for them to share what does John Carroll mean to them and what are kind of those stories that are going to hang on to them after graduation. So during this time that we all have together, we're going to celebrate all of our achievements, laugh at the failures and some of the hiccups along the way, and just cherish the memories that we have made together and the stories for the years to come. Before we begin, I would just like to ask that we all give our speakers our undivided attention. If we need to get up at all during the presentation, if you can withhold until the speakers finish speaking. And if you're also here just not only to listen to our amazing speakers, but also get some extra credit, I would love just to remind everyone that the sign-in table is back there in the back corner. And with that being said, I am super excited to announce our first speaker, Logan Patalski. So Logan's major is in communications with a concentration in digital media, and his minor is in entrepreneurship, and his hometown is Kirtland, Ohio. After graduation, Logan is striving to become a play-by-play sports broadcaster. And a fun fact about Logan is Logan's color analyst, producer, and himself received the 2023 IBS Radio Best Play-by-Play for Football Award, meaning that their 2022 football radio play-by-play demo was named the best college radio football demo in the United States. Logan, that's amazing. So with that being said, can we please give a warm welcome to Logan?
Good evening. As Maria said, my name is Logan Patalski. I'm a senior at John Carroll here from Kirtland, Ohio. I'm a digital media communication major and an entrepreneurship minor. And as it was also mentioned, I am an aspiring play-by-play sports broadcaster. Early on in high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do for my future career. And this made sense considering that, it was well before college. But I knew that I loved sports. I played football, basketball, and baseball when I was in school. And in my free time, I even played golf and tennis. Not to mention how much I watched and listened to sports. Being from the Cleveland area, I can't tell you how many Browns, Cavs, and Guardians games that I've watched and listened to. When I was younger, I remember being in school and repeatedly seeing the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Being a diehard sports fan, I would say that I always wanted to be a professional athlete. But I quickly realized that this wasn't going to be the case. So as I got later into my high school career, I reflected on how I enjoyed the sounds of many different broadcasters for sports when they call games. They deliver the excitement and the energy that fans thrive on. This seemed pretty cool, so I figured I'd try to get into sports broadcasting. My older brother, who's here with us this evening, decided on JCU for his pursuit of a sports studies degree, so I at least knew about the school somewhat. But at the end of my junior year in high school, I had to do what my school calls a junior internship experience. And this meant that I had to shadow a potential career I might be interested in for 3 days. So for one of my 3 days, I decided to see what JCU had to offer in terms of sports broadcasting. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew the communication department was named after Tim Russert, a famous political news analyst, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing for John Carroll. But when I came here for my first college visit, I knew that this was the place for me. It was on this visit that I met the late former JCU Sports Information Director, Chris Wensler, who had me in his office to explain what his group did. His explanation was simple. With our department, you get paid to watch sports. Are you kidding? This was awesome. I was sold. And at the radio station WJCU, I was able to record a weather report and deliver a live mic break between songs. Wow, I got this kind of experience and I wasn't even a student yet. Everyone I saw on this visit was very kind and willing to answer any questions that I ever had. The small school feel also matched my high school, and I even remember at one point when I was a bit younger, we used to call this place John Kirtland because we had so many Kirtland kids who were going here at that time. I knew I was going to be a Blue Streak. So my freshman year, I remember having an involvement fair at the Dolan Science Center, out that way, and I once again saw Chris. It had been a little while, so he gave me a brief recap of what JCU Sports Info does. I gave him my email, and the rest was history. For the past 4 years, I've been greatly involved in the coverage of John Carroll athletic events. I've done anything from broadcasting games, writing recaps, public address announcing, compiling game notes, providing social media updates, taking photos and video, and much more. These experiences have greatly prepared me to pursue a career in sports media. However, my collegiate experience has not been without its challenges. My freshman year, I just got back from spring break when this thing called COVID-19 ended up hitting, and it made us all have to go home. I had no idea how long I'd be away from JCU. A couple weeks? No. I remained at home through not just the rest of my freshman year, but for my entire sophomore year. But instead of being upset, I made the most of it. I decided to take on a bit more exercising, some running, healthier eating habits as well. I mean, I was an offensive lineman when I played high school football, so I knew losing a couple pounds would, make me feel a little bit better. Little did I know what exactly would happen to me, because I went from 270 pounds from when I went home to under 170 pounds that December. A few months after we went home, our sports information director of 30 years passed away. This was really a devastating moment for a lot of the John Carroll community, as he was as much of a man of Carroll as anyone you'll ever meet. I'm truly proud to be one of Wensler's warriors. I have that bracelet, Remember Chris, so he follows me every day. His successor, Joe Ginley, has been incredible in taking on this role for Chris. He's been guiding us all along the way and giving us valuable opportunities. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, from not really being able to go anywhere to completing over a year's worth of school online, I learned that hard work pays off. Speaking of this hard work, with my interest in broadcasting, the pandemic made me miss out on a year of being involved with the radio station here, WJCU. While I was mad at this, there was nothing I could do. However, I applied for the sports director position with the station and was hired my junior year. Despite having no real radio experience, I knew that this position was something that I would need to do, something very important if I wanted to get into sports broadcasting. This role has allowed me to call John Carroll football and basketball games live on FM and online radio. I now understand what it takes to execute professional quality sports radio broadcasts. Being sports director for WJCU has also led me to calling NCAA tournament basketball games in New York and Indiana, which are experiences that I won't soon forget. Also, being the sports director for WJCU led me into an internship with the Lake County Captains for their 2022 season. The Captains are the high A affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians, so this internship provided me with real-world professional experience that allowed me to understand how to call, produce, and save live athletic event broadcasts. I had many responsibilities, like producing game broadcasts, providing both color and play-by-play commentary, cutting game highlights and saving them, and more. This too is another valuable experience JCU has given me that will prepare me for a career after graduation. WJCU has also allowed me to serve as a music DJ and host a sports talk show, which have let me learn more about how to work in the world of radio. With that in mind, I'd like to thank the general manager of WJCU, Jason Sokol, for giving myself and others these types of valuable opportunities at the station. And in terms of my education, I learned many things, like how to use Adobe Audition, Adobe Photoshop, and Adobe Premiere Pro, which are important in the digital media industry. In my writing and producing documentaries class, I got to write, edit, and produce my very own documentary. I even took a couple of sports classes where we not only learned how to write different types of sports stories, but actually got to talk with professionals who are currently working in the realm of professional sports media, which was awesome. These professionals were even nice enough to tell us to reach out if we ever had any questions, which I thought was very nice of them to let us know. But the one thing that I'm most thankful for during my time at JCU is the relationships that I've formed. By working for both the Sports Information Department and WJCU, I have met and worked with many people who I can now call friends. Even people who have already graduated that I still keep in touch with to this day. I think if you ask just about anyone what their favorite thing is about John Carroll, they'll say that it's the people. Everyone that I've met here has been kind, welcoming, and willing to help when you need it. Here at John Carroll, your faculty, professors, and staff are here to help you, and they want to help you succeed. When you hear people say that JCU grads are men and women for others, they mean it. I feel that John Carroll has given me the education and experiences needed to pursue a sports broadcasting career and many relationships that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I'm honored to call myself a man of Carroll and look forward to what's in store after graduation. Thank you.
Logan, thank you so much for sharing your story and also your passion for sports broadcasting. Next, I am excited to announce our next speaker for the evening, Gwyneth Hamilton. Gwyneth majors in cell and molecular biology and minors in chemistry and gender, sexuality, and women's studies. Her hometown is Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and Gwyneth is working as a medical scribe while applying to medical schools for after graduation. And a fun fact is that she has traveled to 17 different countries. Whoa, okay. So please give a warm welcome to Gwyneth.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this time to talk about my time here at John Carroll as a student athlete. I am a swimmer who is graduating in 2 months, so with that being said, I don't know what to do with myself. I have all this free time and it's kind of crazy. So during my college search, I had two dreams for my schools. I was either going to swim in college or I was going to attend something close to an Ivy League. And as senior year went along, I got rejection letters from every single one of those Ivy League wannabes. So obviously, swimming was my best choice. And I was disappointed at first, but I'm a firm believer that things do happen for a reason, and that was probably the best thing to have happened to me. At this point, though, Carroll was not on my radar. I didn't even know what the school was. I was being recruited by other teams, going to visit them, going to watch their swim meets. But one day, I finally decided to open an email, about this 10th email that I got from a random coach from a random school in Cleveland, and it was off to University Heights that I went. So I went and watched one of their meets. It was senior night. Energy was super, super high, and I could feel the love the team had for each other, and immediately I fell in love. I loved the campus, I loved the town, I loved the shopping plazas around here, and most importantly, I loved the team and immediately knew that I wanted to be a part of it. They were singing, laughing, cheering each other on, and it made me so happy that I could see myself being there for 4 more years. It also helped to see the numerous championship banners hanging around the pool deck as a testimony that it is indeed a very talented team. About a month later, I committed to that random school in Cleveland that I had never heard of. I told myself repeatedly that I had committed for the school itself, as I had promised my mom, and that swimming was just a bonus. Because what would happen if I was no longer able to compete? Would I still be able to stay at this school? I can say for certain that I never fully convinced myself that swimming was just a side gig. The thought of no longer competing scared me. I had no idea who I would be. I always identified as an athlete, and I couldn't imagine that being taken away from me at any point earlier than I wanted it to. Every time I went through an icebreaker in a new class, my fun fact was that I'm a swimmer at John Carroll. Did I have absolutely nothing else to say about myself? Was that really that fun? But nonetheless, it was my identity, and I thought it could never be taken away. And that's one thing that I truly am afraid of when I graduate, is that I can no longer identify as an athlete that I have the past 15 years. It's been such a special part of me for so long, it's going to be hard to let go. I don't know if many truly understand the impact that athletics have on people. It's more than just a hobby, it's a lifestyle, especially with a team in a sport that's pretty much year-round. There's really no breaks. It's missing birthday parties because of weekend-long invitationals. It's leaving sleepovers before everyone's awake because an extremely early swim meet. Going to homecomings after a meet with dry skin, wet hair. attending class with wet hair in the middle of winter, making up exams, having anxiety for a good month or two before championships, on top of all of the exams and classes that you're missing, and Saturday morning practices, no sleep, and of course, dry season. On the other hand, athletics have taught me how to persevere when it feels like the only option is to quit, how to be disciplined and dedicated, how to work hard to achieve my goals, that success does not come easily, if at all, how to be a leader for people to look up to, how to respect other teammates or competitors who may not respect you, how to keep getting back up when you keep getting knocked down. But more importantly, it's a family away from home, including teammates that take the place of your annoying younger brother and become sisters that you never had, best friends who will be future bridesmaids, a support system with coaches that have your back, teammates who have seen you in your worst, but also your best, mentors and mentees, role models that will push you to be your best self, and many, many memories, which is why it's so hard to leave. There's a short poem about D3 athletics that as a women's team we read before championships just to remind ourselves what we're doing, why we're doing it. It's titled Why We Compete in Division III Athletics by Sean Sorensen, a baseball player at Cornell College in 1999. And I would like to share it all with you guys because I think that it really exemplifies who we are. It's not about getting a scholarship, getting drafted, or making SportsCenter. It's a deep need in us that comes from the heart. We need to practice, to play, to lift, to hustle, to sweat. We do it all for our teammates and for the student in that calculus class that we don't even know. We don't practice with a future major league first baseman. We practice with a future sports agent. We don't lift weights with a future Olympic wrestler. We lift with a future doctor. We don't run with a future Wimbledon champion. We run with a future CEO. It's a bigger part of us than our friends and family can understand. Sometimes we play for 2,000 fans, sometimes 25, but we still play hard. You cheer for us because you know us. You know more than just our names. Like all of you, we are students first. We don't sign autographs, but we do sign graduate school petitions, or graduate school applications, MCAT exams, and student body petitions. When we miss a kick or strike out, we don't let down an entire state. We only let down our teammates, coaches, and fans, but the hurt is still the same. We train hard, lift, throw, run, kick, tackle, shoot, dribble, and lift some more. And in the morning, we go to class, and in that class, we are nothing more than students. It's about pride in ourselves and our school. It's about our love and passion for the game, and when it's over, when we walk off that field for the very last time, our hearts crumble. Those tears are real. But deep down inside, we are very proud of ourselves. We will forever be what few can claim, student athletes. The NCAA Division III motto is Discover, Develop, Dedicate. At John Carroll, we are free to discover our passions aside from academics and athletics, to develop into well-rounded students by participating in multiple groups, and to dedicate our time and effort to being the best version of ourselves that we can be. Thinking back on my time here at Carroll, my identity didn't consist solely of being an athlete, but also a woman in STEM, a teaching assistant, a researcher, a Chi Omega, a volunteer, a friend, a leader, and most importantly, a student. I thank Carroll for everyone and everything it has given me and allowed me to be, and I wouldn't trade my time here for anything else in the world. Thank you.
Gwyneth, thank you so much for sharing your story and just the bigger impact sports can have on all of us. Thank you. With that, I would like to welcome our next speaker of the night, Taylor Anthony. Taylor majors in communication with a concentration in digital media, and her minor is in Spanish. Taylor's hometown is Massillon, Ohio, and after graduation, Taylor is obtaining her master's degree at Northwestern University. And a fun fact about Taylor is that she has interned with both NBC and Fox 8 Cleveland. Please welcome Taylor Anthony.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Taylor Anthony. Standing here today, I cannot even begin to fathom that we will be walking the stage for graduation in exactly 2 months. It is crazy to think back to my freshman year self, who was right out of high school in a completely new place where I didn't know anyone, and I was just trying to find my way. I remember being so nervous for my random roommate pairing. I was questioning if I chose the right major, and I was just worried that I would be missing home, my parents, and my old friends. Flash forward 4 years later, my random roommate has become one of my best friends, and I will be a bridesmaid in her wedding this summer. Hi, Sarah. I have no doubt now that I am pursuing the right career path for my future, and I have truly found my home away from home here at John Carroll. So today, I will first talk about some defining moments of my undergraduate years. Then I will talk about a few special people who have really made a significant impact on my time and my college experience overall. And finally, I will reflect on one of the greatest life lessons I have learned, which has shaped me into the young woman I am today. So as you all know, these last 4 years have been so unpredictable and unexpected, to say the least. And I'm going to be honest, at times it has definitely been hard not to dwell on the past and think about how much we missed out on of our college experience. We all had to learn how to find and establish our own new sense of normal and make the most out of the time that we had left. And with that being said, I have been a sprinter on John Carroll's women's track and field team throughout all 4 years. So as a student athlete, that feeling of missing out seemed to hit me twice as hard once the realization of it all really set in. Entire seasons were canceled, national championship meets were canceled, and there were just periodically COVID cancellations all throughout the season. It really just felt like heartbreak after heartbreak everywhere I turned. But I can stand here and continue to dwell on all the things that COVID took away or made us miss out on, but I am choosing to focus on how all of that has impacted my perspective on life today. I had to tell myself to stop worrying about what could have been and focus on what still could be. And now flash forward to my senior year, I have learned that blessings don't always come in the way we expect them. So while the pandemic was an awful time for us all, it also made me realize some of my greatest blessings in life. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. People and things are placed into your life for a reason. And I truly could not be more grateful for the people that I have crossed paths with here at John Carroll. And while the list could go on and on, I do want to highlight a few of these individuals. I first would like to thank my amazing roommates, Sarah, Delaney, and Bryce, who have become some of my best friends. Through it all, they have always brought joy to my day, and they reminded me of the importance of living in the present. We have laughed together, and we have made memories that I know will last well beyond our graduate years. Next, I would like to thank some of my teammates who are the funniest and most supportive people I know. While some days I may dread it, my teammates are genuinely the reason I look forward to going to practice every day. Nevertheless, my student-athlete experience would not have been as amazing without my coaches, Danny, Kyle, and Jordan. They have always seen the best in me, even when I didn't see it for myself, and they have motivated me to be great in all aspects of my life. They are truly some of my biggest supporters. And now, academically speaking, I know I would not be where I am today without some of the professors and mentors that I've had over the course of the years. To name a few, Bob Knoll. Everyone knows Bob, and if you don't, you're missing out. So thank you, Bob, because you're who introduced me to wanting to pursue a career in the media industry. Dr. Carrie Buchanan, who is not here today because she is retired now, but she is who helped me find my passion for journalism and really use my voice to help others through my writing and tell others' stories. Father Maurice Emilu, Dr. Jacqueline Schmidt, Dr. Finucane, and Celine Zarelli, who is the director of the Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion, where I work as an intern. She's just a woman I really admire and look up to, and she's just great. So thank you all for the guidance, the knowledge, and pushing me to succeed well beyond my undergraduate years. For that, I will forever be grateful. And finally, my mom and dad. They couldn't be here tonight because it was a little late for them to be night driving, but this is recorded for them, so hi, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, thank you for your continuous love and support and your relentless efforts to give me every opportunity and more in life. So today, I couldn't bring myself to pick one memory that really defined my time here at John Carroll, because it wasn't a memory, it was the people. The people I have met have helped me create countless memories, and they are what I will remember about my time here at John Carroll. I think everything we go through in life ultimately prepares us for what we asked for. During my sophomore year, mid-pandemic, when I was heartbroken at everything that had been taken away, I asked God to show me the light. I had to stop dwelling on the past so that I didn't miss out on the new opportunities, blessings, and people that I had prayed for. And that was my light. So finally, the greatest life lesson I have learned from these last 4 years is the importance of living in the moment and being present in each and every day. That means not worrying about the past and not stressing about the future. Thank you to everyone who played such a meaningful role in this chapter of my life, because you all have become some of my greatest memories. Thank you.
Taylor, thank you so much for sharing your story and just the amazing memories that you've had here at John Carroll University. Next, I would love to welcome our next speaker for the night, Danielle Baffa. Danielle majors in psychology with a concentration in interdisciplinary neuroscience. I hope I said that right. It kind of sounded weird as I was saying it. But Danielle also minors in Spanish and chemistry. She's from Chicago, Illinois, and after graduation, Danielle will be attending medical school. And a fun fact about Danielle is that she grew up figure skating. Please welcome Danielle Baffa. All right, hi everyone. For those of you who may not know me, yes, I am the girl that always undoubtedly has Starbucks in one hand and 20 different assignments in the other as I'm running from one activity to the next. I'm also the girl who would stay up all night to finish my homework in the study lounges in Campion my freshman year, and the girl who, at this point, probably should just move my bed to the Dolan Science Center. But who am I really? That's a question I've been trying to answer my whole life. I don't have the answer to that. Geez, wouldn't this be a whole lot easier if I did? But my time at John Carroll has pushed me to discover who I want to be, not what I want to be. Now, I could go through my whole resume and tell you everything I've done to find out who I am at John Carroll, but as many of you probably know, we'd be here all night if I did that. As I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to write for this speech, I remembered a conversation I had with my dad a few weeks ago that inspired me to reflect on my time at Carroll. As I was frustrated with the long and grueling process of medical school applications, I started on a long-winded rant. He said, "You are one of the few people in my life that I know knows how to appreciate hard work. Although the awards and recognition are always nice, it's something you have often grown up without, and because of that, you know how to appreciate the journey." As I look back into my time at Carroll, I now realize how those long nights of homework have pushed me. I realize how all of those activities that I have been involved with have allowed me to find myself. And it wasn't in the happiest moments that I was able to do that. It was when I pushed myself to my absolute limits that I found who I was, what I was capable of, and the person I want to be. So let me tell you just a few of these stories with the hope of showing you that in my failures and willingness to learn at JCU, I found my most authentic self. When I first came to Carroll, I immediately got involved in various organizations. Within the first month, I had joined Gamma Phi Beta, had been a supporting team member of our Student Union Programming Board, had been an honors program member living in our Living Learning community, and well, geez, the list goes on and on. I was an eager freshman that wanted to at least try everything, and gosh, did I love it. I still have some of my best friends and best memories from the activities I had gotten involved with my freshman year. It was a time of saying yes to anything and everything, and pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone. As we all know, the pandemic hit in the second semester of my freshman year. As I was at home, I was scared to lose all of the friends I had made, especially not knowing when I would see them again. It would only be a few weeks, I kept telling myself, until it wasn't. So my sophomore year started, and I began Zoom University. I was pretty nervous as I had some of my toughest classes yet. Organic chemistry, upper-level psychology, and biology classes. I was in for a real treat. When I think back on that time, all I can really do is laugh. Maybe don't ask me what I learned. Because I'm from Chicago, my classes were all shifted to an hour earlier because of the time zone change.
Imagine organic chemistry being scheduled for 8 a.m., but now it was at 7 a.m. I would log into class, and undoubtedly, about 15 minutes into every class, every day, I would hear, "Zachary, I swear if you aren't up in the next 10 minutes, you aren't going to class today, and then you get to explain to your teachers why you missed class again." And then when that one didn't work, "Zachary, I swear if you aren't up again, you're not going to school today. Would you just get up already? If you keep doing this, I'm going to take away Fortnite so you stop playing up until 4 in the morning." As I said, don't ask me what I learned. Although classes were a struggle to focus on, and as a way to meet new people as well, I continued to push myself to get involved online, reach out to people in my classes who I had never met in person, and study long hours in order to do well in all of my courses. Usually I found a few quiet hours in the day when my 3 younger brothers couldn't bother me, so that I could focus and get my work done. Normally those few hours were around 4 a.m., when my youngest brother, Zach, finally went to bed and would be asleep for a few hours. That was my time to grind. When I returned to school my second semester of my sophomore year, everything was different. Although we tried to make it as normal as possible, half of my classmates still were home for the second semester, and none of us had been at Carroll for nearly 9 months. It was a difficult time, but I tried to make the most of it. Time began to fly, and before I knew it, I was already starting my junior year. Involved with 15 different organizations, and most of them I honestly really knew nothing about. One organization that sticks out is LABRA. The LABRA Project is an organization that was started in 2004, and every Friday night, we go out into the streets of Cleveland to spend time with those who are experiencing homelessness. We bring food, donations, but most importantly, friendship with us, and I have met some of the most amazing people through this organization. But I'll be the first to admit it was one of my biggest struggles. Before I took over as president, I had only gone on LABRA a handful of times. Due to COVID, we really never were able to go out into the community, so I took over an organization, again, I really knew nothing about. I felt as though I had failed miserably in this organization, but in many others too. After the first semester, the previous president sat me down and asked how I thought my first semester had gone. I said, well, okay, but was then told how it was unacceptable the way I had run the organization. I said, I'll make it better for the fall and I'll come back with a better plan, and was asked, what are you talking about the fall semester? LABRA is something that never ends. We go out every Friday, regardless of summer break, regardless of spring break, regardless of any break. So I took full responsibility and then went out every Friday of the summer and fall semesters. I would get to my research job at the Cleveland Clinic over the summer around 8 a.m., work until 4 p.m., drive 30 minutes to pick up the food at City Barbecue or Piccolo's in Mayfield, head to school, get donations together quickly, and then we would start our drives around Cleveland most nights until 11 p.m. There wasn't a Friday we missed. And as I continued to make mistakes throughout the summer, I learned what my role as the president of LABRA was. I took on the responsibility of the organization to continue to go out each and every Friday. But if I'm honest, I don't think that's why JCU students and alumni kept coming back to volunteer. It was in that van every week that I learned who I was as a president, and that was when people recognized how special of an organization LABRA was, and why I cared so much to make it better. As I said, food and donations are an important part of what we do, but the genuine friendships we form with those experiencing homelessness and each other is about finding who we and others really are. It took me transitioning our next president and vice president to reflect on my presidency and learn this. It wasn't until recently in a conversation I had with Jamie Greenwolf that I stopped looking at what I did and who I did as a failure in the beginning, but as an authentic leader on a journey. Leaders take responsibility, they make the necessary changes, and they strive for others to find joy and passion in the organization that has meant so much to them. I'll tell you right now, that's not in any job description. That's not what a president does. It's who they are in their role as a leader. Maybe I could be a leader who doesn't give up, who strives to be better at every opportunity, and who is not defined by my own shortcomings, but the way in which I handle adversity. This is what kept people passionate about LABRA, and I recognize this as we have had new, passionate freshmen and sophomores join our organization who are inspired to become leaders in their own ways. And this goes for every organization I'm a part of. I have learned to appreciate the journey and the hard work I put into bringing each organization back to what it once was and fighting at every step to do more. But it wasn't, again, about doing more. It was about being more in all that I do, known as the Jesuit value of magis. Although the journey of learning how to be more was some of the most strenuous work I have ever had to do, as my dad had said, it made me appreciate that work even more. And not only the work I have done, but the work that others do too. When I look back on all I have done at Carroll, I've started to recognize a pattern emerging. In all I have done, all the extra classes I have taken beyond my psychology neuroscience major, my minors in Spanish and chemistry, all of the organizations I have joined, from SUPB to Gamma Phi to EMS to the neuroscience lab, to being a teacher's assistant for general chemistry lab, to Labra, to volunteering at university hospitals, to the honors program, to Psi Chi, to Alpha Sigma Nu, to Order of Omega. I told you we'd be here all night. But to all of those wonderful organizations and the people that I have met, and to my immersion trips to Honduras and to Belize, and to the small moments I have had at JCU, I owe you all a big thank you. Not for, again, helping me figure out that I want to be a doctor one day, but for supporting me in figuring out that I am someone who wants to be a genuine, open, and authentic person. A person who pushes themselves to always be more in this one wild and precious life. And a person who appreciates the journey and the struggles of the past, the present, and in the future, in both myself and in others. Thank you for shaping me for who I want to be and who I am today.
Danielle, thank you so much for sharing your story and how John Carroll has shaped you into the woman that you are today. So thank you. Our final speaker of the night is CJ Favoza. CJ's major is in Management and Human Resources and Marketing, and he has minors in Leadership Development and Biology. His hometown is Valley View, Ohio, and after graduation, CJ is currently looking for jobs in the human resources field. A fun fact about CJ is that he played hockey for 12 years before coming to JCU. Please welcome CJ Favoza.
Thank you, Maria. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. They say that college is the best 4 years of your life, but they never say it's the quickest. When I toured JCU my junior year of high school, I knew I had a year to decide where my future would go. 365 days to plan everything. Of course, that seems like a lot of time for a junior in high school. I was in the same building for 8 hours a day with the same people with different goals and aspirations, many of which were very different from my own. Some wanted to go to the military, others wanted to go straight to the workforce. Some, like me, wanted to go to college. Of course, we were all looking at different places, some in state, some out of state. I, for one, before touring Carroll, wanted to get the heck out of Cleveland. Then the 365 days set in, and I started looking at every possibility. Of course, I didn't need all 365 days when my decision was so easy. After all, how could you say no to a place that already felt like home? For my amazing enrollment manager, the beautiful campus, and even the memorable kindness that my tour guide displayed. It was a decision I only needed a second to make. Honestly, I couldn't wait for the year to go by. And so it went. And then another, then another, and then another. Suddenly, I'm a senior delivering a Grad To Grad speech in front of the very people I went to Street Week with, to the professors that read my first essay, to the friends that saw me make some rather questionable decisions. 4 years seems like a lot when you're just a freshman, struggling to find where your classes are and how to use Canvas. I honestly thought I had all the time in the world, and I was even excited to walk across the stage and grab my diploma. However, now I just wish I had slowed it down, or even told the freshman version of myself to enjoy the ride. He would probably be proud that I did relatively well in my classes. He would be happy that we made amazing connections, both inside and outside of Carroll. Some that I know I will carry with me long after I graduate. He probably asked what the heck this COVID thing was, and asked what we did for a whole semester. He may be surprised that I ended up becoming both the new member educator and even the president of the same organization that I went through Greek life recruitment for a few weeks later. Honestly, being president was not entirely out of the realm of possibilities. I naturally pursued leadership positions in high school and knew college would be no different. Yet I do not know if freshman CJ would understand just how great of an impact an organization could have on a person. Such an impact, too, he would want to help lead other men of principle, not only at JCU, but around the country. I would tell him to enjoy recruitment, but that the choice would be easy. Beta Theta Pi would give him a brotherhood that would cultivate him into the man standing before you today. With the friendly nature of everyone, their willingness to connect, as well as the core values of integrity, trust, mutual assistance, responsible conduct, and intellectual growth, upholding the mission of this organization, I would tell him that he would be drawn in instantly. It would provide him more opportunities than he could ever imagine, many of which took him far from Cleveland, just like he wanted to do as a junior in high school. Yet they would always lead him back to a group of brothers who helped him and believed in him no matter the situation at hand. I am sure he would be happy to mark Atlanta, Charlotte, and so many other big cities off of his college travel bucket list. I think he would also be relieved to know that college wasn't as scary as everyone makes it out to be, especially when you have a group of amazing young men behind you who not only catch you when you fall, but also celebrate with you during your successes. I would also be excited to tell him he gets to do the same things after he graduates as an undergraduate commissioner for the organization. Then I would make him laugh. I think he would find it funny that he became a resident assistant in both Murphy and Burnett after the nonsense he caused in Pacelli his freshman year, giving his poor RA a headache. Little did he know that he would be the one filling out the incident reports in 2 short years. I wonder how he would feel that Smelly Pacelli is now receiving a facelift, and that Dirty Dolan has been polished for the signature programs. I am sure he would be happy as long as he wasn't across the street in Hamlin or Campion. Then again, I would not tell him about the Belvoir lot. That is a surprise he can wait to figure out himself. I would have loved to see his face when he got the phone call saying that he was hired in the summer of 2021. I know I was excited beyond measure, and that so many new experiences were ahead of me, like talking with members of the community, filing a lot of work orders, and staying up until 2 a.m. on weekends, hoping nothing would go wrong. I don't think he'd believe me when I told him that the perks of the job include going to an aquarium with my peers or kayaking with the pro staff. I would also tell him to binge watch Stranger Things, because it makes a really good floor theme. Just like with Beta, freshman E knew he would be a leader in multiple situations. He knew he had the potential to reshape organizations and make a name for himself on this campus. Yet, I do not know if he would comprehend just how quick the time would go before, during, and after his tenure in these various positions around JCU. However, although 4 years felt like 4 minutes, I know I experienced them to their fullest. This place and these people have helped shape me and gave me experiences that I talked about not only with you, but I wish I could repeat to a younger version of myself. I suppose my final piece of advice to not only freshman CJ, but also the CJ who was in high school, dreaming of the day he would make it big, would be simple. Treat every second like it's gold, because time will be spent before you even know it. Thank you.
CJ, thank you so much for sharing your story. It was amazing to hear, especially how just treating everything, every single moment is gold, so thank you. And yeah, with that being said, CJ was our final speaker for the final session of the Grad at Grad Speakers Series. I want to thank every single one of you for coming and joining and hearing the amazing stories that we all heard tonight from our amazing panelists, and just how John Carroll has shaped them into the men and women that they are today, and just the memories that they will hold on to after graduation. I hope these stories made you reflect on your own John Carroll experience and how JCU will impact you once you graduate. I would also like to thank Dr. Finucane, Dr. Doan Winkle, and Cece and Lily for putting on this event together. It turned out amazing, and thank you also for every single person who helped set up the chairs, this microphone, just everything else in the room. For the people just taking photography and videography, we really appreciate it, so thank you. And last but not least, I'd also like to, how many seniors do we have in here right now? Okay, awesome. So we got a lot. So if you notice, there's posters kind of hanging up around called Ode to JCU, and that's kind of more of like the written aspect that goes off of Grad at Grad. But it's an opportunity for you to write kind of an ode to what is that most memorable experience that you've had here at JCU, or when you think of JCU, what is that to you? Is it the bell tower going off, or is it just hanging out with your friends on the quad, or going to the dining hall? It could be anything. It could be a short poem to a couple sentences to max 300 words, but submissions are due April 15th. So we're trying to get as many as possible. There will be an exhibition at the end of April in the library where we'll kind of do a little memory walk, but please, seniors, you'll be seeing a lot of emails from me. Do an ode to JCU. And yeah, with that being said, thank you again for everyone for joining tonight, for our amazing speakers, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.